Welcome, everyone. We appreciate you joining us today. We at Newrez are sorry to see the events that may have recently impacted your home, and we want to make sure that we are here to help you through every step of the process, and it starts right here, right now. We know that this is very likely a really busy time for you and your families as the recovery process starts, and we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to be with us this morning. All of that said, we have two objectives for today. The first one is to educate you on the insurance claim loss draft process, and second, to educate you on loss mitigation disaster assistance options that may be available to you. Before we get started, we want to encourage everyone to place your questions in the Q&A. Our team will be monitoring the questions during the presentations, and we will address as many of those as we can once the presentations conclude. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the agenda. So my name is Michelle Wenz. I am the Vice President of Escrow for Newrez. I'll be taking you through the insurance claim loss draft process. Also joining us today is Marina Wroblewski, who is our Vice President of Loss Mitigation. She is going to be walking you through the loss mitigation disaster assistance options that may be available to you. Next slide. So our first step in understanding loss draft is to talk about what a loss draft is. Next slide, please. So very simply put, a loss draft check is a check issued by your insurance company for damages to your home, whether they're the result of a natural disaster or some unforeseen accident. Common examples of this include a hurricane comes through causing roof damage, which requires the roof to be repaired or replaced. Or one of your kids may leave a toilet running, which causes it to accidentally overflow and creates water damage to the interior of your home that has to be repaired. And certainly most relevant in today's circumstances, why we're here today, is a fire damages some or all of your home, requiring repair or a complete rebuild. A couple of things to note about a loss draft check. When the check is issued, it's going to be made payable to you and your mortgage company. And the reason why the check is made out this way is because your mortgage company, like you, has a financial interest in your property. And it's our responsibility to ensure that the funds are used to repair the property, protecting its value. So there's shared ownership there, which is why the check is generally made out to both parties. Next slide. So the next couple of slides are going to take us through the step-by-step loss draft process. The first step in this process is to update the mailing address on file with us if you have relocated to temporary living due to the fires. If there's been any disruption to the mail service, we want to make sure we have the latest and greatest mailing address for you so that any written communication we send to you gets delivered without delay or interruption. So it's a very critical first step. We encourage all of you to take that step if you are in temporary living due to the fires. And you'll see on the screen, there are a couple of ways that you can accomplish this. The first option is to call us at the toll-free number between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, and ask the customer service agent to update your mailing address, and they will take care of that for you on the phone. Alternatively, if it's easier for you to email us, you can send an email to loanservicing@newrez.com and provide all of the information listed, your loan number, your name, your new mailing address, and the reason for the requested change. And we will make that update and then provide confirmation. Taking a few moments to update this information with us now is critically essential to keeping things on track and expediting repairs to your home. Next slide. So now we're going to jump into the step-by-step loss draft process. So the very first step in the loss draft process is going to be to contact your insurance company to file a claim. If you do not recall who your insurance company is, please contact us and we can provide you with that information so you can make contact with them and file your claim. Once the claim is opened, the insurance company will provide you with a claim number, and you're going to need to make note of that critical piece of information because it's going to be needed all throughout the process, not only with us, but also with your insurance company. Once the claim is open and the claim number is assigned, the insurance company will send a licensed adjuster out to your home who will assess the damage and write a report. The report is commonly called the adjuster's report, and it's essentially an itemization of the damage to the home. Once that report is written, the insurance company will issue a check payable to you and your mortgage company, like we discussed on the prior slide, and that will be based on the adjuster's assessment of the cost to restore the home. And at this point, you have enough information to self-register your claim with us on myinsuranceportal.com. You'll see there's a link down there at the bottom of the screen, the bottom left. It only takes a few minutes, and we encourage you to do this as soon as possible. Once you're self-registered, a claim procedure packet will be mailed to you and will also be available online on the portal. And that claim procedure packet contains really, really important information about all steps in the claim process and all of the different things that you need to know as you navigate repairing or rebuilding your home. So once you're registered, you can also upload documents, and you can see critical alerts, different milestones as they're reached in your claim, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. If you do prefer to speak to a live agent to open your claim, that is an option that's available to you as well. You can call us at 877-826-4433 to open your claim with a live loss draft specialist. You'll note that this phone number is different than the phone number we provided on the prior slide to update your mailing address, and that is for good reason. We have a special pool group of people that handle this type of work, and we want to get you connected with them as directly as possible. So please make sure you call that number, and they will help you open your claim if you prefer to speak to a live agent. So once you're registered on the portal, you'll be able to see what documents are required in order to process your claim. So generally, for all claims, we're going to require an adjuster's report, which is what we just talked about with the insurance adjuster. He'll itemize all of the damage, and that will be used by the insurance company to make payment. We'll need the adjuster's report, and you will have the ability to see that the adjuster's report is required, along with any other documentation that may be required. It's also going to provide you critical alerts during the claim process, which we'll talk about in just a second. As far as the physical check, once you receive your check from the insurance company, we're going to require you to sign the check and mail it to us using the address provided on the website. It's also, that information is also contained in the claim procedure packet. Once we receive that check, we can start dispersing the funds to you so that you can begin your repair or rebuild process. This is also known as the draw process. And depending on the extent of the damage, the check may be returned to you with our endorsement, or funds may be released in phases, and inspections may be required to process additional disbursements. And we'll communicate with you directly if that's the case. And again, back to those alerts that we talked about on the portal, if any of that activity is required, you will see that pop up on the portal when you log in throughout the claim process. Given the nature of this event, we realize that there may be some people who suffered a total loss and are going to choose not to rebuild their home. And we want you to know that you do have the option to pay your loan in full with the insurance claim proceeds if you so desire. If that is the case, we need you to send us a letter of intent to pay off the loan, and then we will take the necessary steps to pay off your loan on our system. If there are any excess loss draft funds after the loan is paid in full, we will send those to you within 20 days. And again, that letter of intent can be sent to us any number of ways. It can be mailed to us, it can be emailed to us, or it can be uploaded directly on the portal. It's entirely your choice. I can't stress enough how important it is to communicate with us throughout the process. We recognize that this can be a very difficult process to navigate, repairing, rebuilding. The event itself has been a huge disruption to everyone's lives, and we want to make the repair process as seamless as possible with you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us using the toll-free number provided. Again, it's at the bottom of the screen, 877-826-4433, to speak with a loss draft specialist who can help you navigate all of the different steps in this process. And then finally, once repairs are complete, you'll notify us, and then we will finalize the process, release any remaining funds, and close out your claim. So in conclusion, like I said, we recognize that this is a really challenging process, and we are here to support you every step of the way. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions or clarifications over the coming days, weeks, and months. Okay, next slide. So on this slide, we're just showing some real life scenarios. So earlier I made a reference to a hurricane coming through and causing roof damage. And we've got a picture of that on the left-hand side of the screen. In this scenario, the lost draft funds were obviously used to repair the roof for the structure. And then on the right, you can see financial hardship due to wildfire. And Marina is about to walk you through how to access forbearance and disaster relief programs that may be available to you. So without further delay, I'm going to hand it over to Marina to walk you through the next portions of the presentation.
Thanks, Michelle. We can go to the next slide, please. Hi, again, my name is Marina Wroblewski. I'm a part of the Newrez team, and I'm also a homeowner. Personally, I've experienced a disaster hardship in my past with my own home, and I know how overwhelming and scary it can be. I hope you find the information we share today to be helpful, and that you walk away from today knowing that Newrez is here to help and how to partner with us regarding your questions, your concerns, and solutions for your mortgage. I'm going to talk through the loss mitigation disaster assistance. Let's start off by just talking through what is loss mitigation. Loss mitigation is a process where borrowers and mortgage servicers work together to create a plan to avoid foreclosure. When a homeowner is experiencing a hardship, or they anticipate that they're going to have challenges making their mortgage, or they're already behind making those payments, there are often solutions we can offer that are going to help. And some options that may help include FEMA grants. Homeowners can learn more and may be able to obtain a grant directly from FEMA. You can get more information about FEMA grants or apply by going to www.fema.gov. There may also be some loan options available, such as a small business disaster loan that can help with recovery efforts. You can actually apply for loan options on our website at www.newrez.com, or you can call us at 888-673-5521. We also can complete an evaluation process to determine servicer-specific options. So what can we do for you here at Newrez regarding the loan? We can complete an evaluation process. And to do that, we'll want to discuss the details of the hardship. We're going to ask questions to gain an understanding if the hardship is expected to be short-term or long-term. Some questions that we would ask during that process, let me just share some examples with you. When it comes to wildfire impacts or other disasters, we'll ask you, is everyone okay? Was the property impacted by the fire? And if so, how? Are you still staying and occupying the property? Was your place of employment impacted? And if so, how? And all we're doing when we ask you these questions is we're really trying to assess and understand how impacted you are and figure out the right next steps in order to guide you for how we can assist you as we move ahead. We're going to ask additional questions regarding your finances, and we'll work to complete a loss mitigation application. We may ask for documentation as part of the application process, and we'll set follow-up communications until all information needed is received in order to arrive at a decision. I do recommend that if there are documents needed, we work quickly to get everything to us. Try 24 to 48 hours if possible. If you can't access mail or documents that you had on file because you can't get to your property or they were destroyed, you may be able to obtain what's needed online. And if you don't have access to a computer, often I find from homeowners they share they were able to access resources at a local library. So that's a helpful thing that I've learned from some of our homeowners directly. If a hardship has not been resolved, assistance is needed. Homeowners may qualify for a forbearance. That's typically what we see at the early stages when someone has experienced impacts from fire. It temporarily suspends the payment requirement for the loan. The homeowner can hold off or make partial payments during that forbearance period, or they can make their full payments if they are not impacted yet. There are no late fees assessed during this forbearance period, and we do not report the loan as delinquent on the credit report during the forbearance period. Once the forbearance expires, the amount not paid will become due. So homeowners should be prepared to make full payment or partner with us and discuss further options. That's really critical. So as that forbearance is about to conclude, we want to make sure that we're talking together. If we need more time, we discuss options for that, or we discuss options to help the homeowner get back on their feet. One example of those options may be a repayment plan where we work out a plan that will allow a homeowner to resume monthly mortgage payments, but pay a little extra to get caught up on the amount that's past due. These options, as well as others, we have available to help prevent foreclosure and to provide support to our homeowners while they work to get back to normal. So how do you get started and how do you get help? Go to our website to learn more and apply at www.newrez.com. You can select disaster relief under resources, sign in to apply for assistance. If you don't have an online account yet, select the option to create a new account and then follow the prompts from there. Should be very easy. You also can contact us at our number, which is 888-673-5521. But ultimately, we're here to help. We want to understand what your unique situation entails and then provide guidance so that we can partner together to find a solution. And that's it from a loss mitigation perspective that we have to cover for this slide. We have a consolidated slide here regarding common challenges and solutions. So just for the processes that Michelle and I shared as a whole, you've got challenges with delays in processing claims, missing documentation. Those are things that we want to avoid and prevent. We want to make sure things go as quickly and as smoothly as possible. So I think, really communication and moving quickly together is very key here. From a solution perspective, double check required forms, and let's communicate effectively with insurers and servicers. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I'll turn it over to Michelle to kick us off, and then she'll answer some questions pertaining to the claims area. And then if there's some loss mitigation questions, then I'll talk about those as well.
Yep, so it looks like we've got one question in the Q&A regarding whether the step-by-step loss draft process is the same for a total loss. And the answer to that question is generally the answer is yes. The upfront documentation requirements are probably going to be more significant for a total loss if you choose to rebuild. And the reason why is because generally in that scenario, the adjuster is going to deem it a total loss, and there will be no adjuster's report that itemizes all of the different damages and the cost to repair those damages. So you may have just a total loss letter from your insurance company. And if it is your wish or your intent to rebuild that property, on the front end in those documentation requirements, before we can start releasing funds, we would require plans for the new home that you plan to rebuild. And essentially what we do with those plans is we compare them back to the original structure using the original appraisal from when you obtain the loan to ensure that the new home that you're building is materially the same as the one that was originally there. And again, that goes back to that concept of, everyone having a shared interest in maintaining and protecting the value of the property as it relates to the loan. And so we ask you to submit those plans, and then we will complete that review and then approve the plans. And then you can proceed with your repairs or your rebuild in this scenario. And the draw process looks exactly the same. So you would get an initial draw, which is generally about a third of the claim proceeds that will get you started with your contractor. And then typically the second draw occurs when you're about 50% complete. You'll request an inspection either by calling our toll-free number or going online and requesting one. We'll complete the inspection, and then based on the percent complete for that inspection, that will trigger another check to be issued to you. And then the third and final portion would be released at completion of the rebuild. So Sarah, I hope that answers your question. If not, please don't hesitate to reach out to us using that toll-free number so that we can clarify anything that we may not have covered. So
I can take the next question if you want, Michelle.
That's great. Thanks, Marina.
Yep. What happens to mortgage payments when a home is destroyed? Are they paused? Oftentimes, when we talk with a homeowner and we complete that evaluation, we often do start off with a forbearance. So that is where we do temporarily pause the mortgage payments. The homeowner can pay partial, they don't have to pay a payment, or they can pay full payments during that time, but that is called a forbearance, and it prevents late fees from being assessed. It also ensures that during that forbearance period, we do not report anything delinquent on the credit report for the homeowner. So it does give some time for the homeowner, and it does temporarily pause those payments. But very important to note, it won't happen automatically. So if assistance is needed and you are experiencing a hardship, it's really important that we talk together, that we do discuss your hardship, and we work towards that solution if that's what you need.
All right, I'll go ahead and take the next question regarding timing on disbursements. So once we receive your claim check, your endorsed claim check, if it is required to be deposited into a restricted escrow account, special holding place for those funds, specifically for the repair or rebuild of your home, it generally takes 3 to 5 days to get that check deposited, reviewed and deposited, and the funds to become available to issue the first draw. So once you tack on processing time and mailing time, I would say that it's probably anywhere 7 to 14 days to issue that first disbursement check. But again, that's just a general timeline. It could be faster than that, depending on how quickly the funds are deposited and become available. And we do agree with you, contractors often do need down payments. And so hopefully they'll understand, and they understand that it's going to take a minute to deposit that check and then turn those funds back out to you so they can get started. But generally, I would say anywhere from 7 to 10 days.
Great. Another question that came up from the loss mitigation side is, if a mortgage is currently current, will they have to be delinquent for forbearance to be granted? And the answer is no. So if you're experiencing, like, you're going to be falling behind and there's that risk, we call that imminent default, definitely communicate with us that you've been impacted, and we can evaluate and work towards forbearance if that's something that is needed. Another question, just to add on to that kind of ties into what we're talking about regarding forbearances that was asked, is if we were behind on a mortgage and facing foreclosure prior to the fire, would we still qualify for forbearance plan if the home was completely destroyed in fire? And the answer would be, we would need to take a look at your loan, but most likely yes. So we would need to, again, evaluate the loan, ask you questions pertaining to your loan, understand the hardship, and then from there determine eligibility. So please, reach out to us, go to our website, or contact us at the telephone number so that we can offer that assistance if that's what's needed.
Okay, so there was another question in the Q&A about how our programs apply for condo owners where the entire condo complex has been destroyed and it's the HOA's insurance. So essentially, your HOA insurance will go through a similar process with their insurance company, and that policy generally will be used to rebuild the structure. What happens with the interior unit will depend, the betterments and improvements to the interior unit, your cabinets, your carpet, your tile, your bathroom fixtures. That's what we mean when we talk about betterments and improvements. If betterments and improvements for the unit is included in the condo master policy, then the condo's insurance would be responsible for completing all of that restoration or rebuild. If you have a separate policy for the betterments and improvements because your condo or HOA association does not cover those improvements, then you would follow the same claim process that I just outlined. You would file the claim with your private insurer. and then they would assess the damage, issue payment, and then it would follow the exact same timeline.
I got a three-part question from Nicole. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for all the great questions. A lot of great questions. Hopefully we're giving you good information to answer those questions. But here's that three-part question from Nicole. I don't see the resources section on the Newrez website. I would need to go in the website myself to be able to show you where to go. So probably what we'll need to do there, I know I went yesterday before the call today and saw it myself, but maybe do some follow-up with you, Nicole, just to make sure you can find those resources there. Oh, there you go. Click the link on the, let's see, hold on, I'm being told to click on the link on the slide. Okay. Is there a way to avoid a balloon payment? So I think, Nicole, you were probably talking about that forbearance. And so really it's not considered a balloon payment, but I guess you could kind of, I guess, would think of it like that. So after a forbearance ends, if that payment is not, you don't have the funds to bring your account current and make up what is behind, then what we would want to do is evaluate the other options that could be available. And those options may be a repayment plan. Your next third part of that question was, could you tag on those 3 months to the back end of the loan? That could be an eligible option that's called a deferment. There may also be an option to modify the terms of the mortgage, but we would need to ask questions and understand where things are at the time that forbearance is concluding, and then determine the right program that's going to work for you and your situation. So I would say the communication between us and you as a homeowner during this process is so critical, so that we can be on the same page around what your needs are, what the challenges are, and then we'll work together to find hopefully a solution that's going to work well for you.
All right, it looks like there's a question from Clara about whether or not homeowners will receive 100% of disbursements as long as all the estimates and invoices are submitted correctly. And you are absolutely right. Once we confirm that all repairs are complete as per the adjuster's report that we talked about through in the step-by-step, any excess proceeds would be released to you once the claim is closed and confirmation that all that work has been completed has been received. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, everything will be dispersed 100%. And then there was another question in here about property tax relief. We don't necessarily play a role in that. There's some great FAQs on the LA County website and LA County tax collectors website about how individual homeowners can apply for property tax relief if they've suffered damage to their property in excess of, I think it's $10,000. So I would encourage you to go look at the LA County tax collectors website and find that information, because they gave some great details on how to apply for that relief and what forms need to be filled out. So I hope that answers your question, Sarah.
I have another question from a homeowner. I've read that loans backed by Fannie and Freddie are eligible for 12 months forbearance during national disasters like these wildfires are. Is this true? And how long is the maximum amount of forbearance we can get? So that's a great question. I would say for Fannie and Freddie, and really typically for most, we just want that constant communication happening. So understand the nature of that hardship. Is it short-term? Do we expect a long-term impact? You know, some properties may have minimal damage, some are completely, no longer, in place. And so that's going to determine how long that forbearance needs to be. We're going to work closely with you, and I wouldn't want to say, oh, it's 3 months or it's 12 months. It's really going to be based off of your situation and the type of loan that you have. So constant communication is important, letting us know, how things are going. Those are going to be the questions we're going to be asking you throughout the process if you are currently on a forbearance. Oftentimes we'll extend that forbearance time frame as we have that good communication going back and forth. We'll partner with Freddie and Fannie. We'll share and communicate, what the needs are, and we're going to work very closely with you, hopefully to find a solution that's going to work. Great question.
Got another question about rebuilding timelines and the funds. Is Newrez going to hold on to your insurance payment for years? So the short answer to that question is that your funds, if they are required to be deposited to that restricted escrow account, specifically for repairs or rebuild, it's an interest-bearing account. So while it may take some time for that repair and rebuild process to complete, to your point, it does sit in an interest-bearing account for your benefit. So please keep that in mind. It's really not a scenario where we're keeping your funds. It's just that we're holding them safe until it is time to rebuild or repair based on your timeline. There's another question about paying off your loan completely. What happens to your rebuild payout? So we'll just use a simple example. If the insurance pays out $100,000 and your payoff is only $80,000, so there's $20,000 in excess proceeds. Once the loan is paid off on the system using your lost draft funds from your insurance company, approximately 20 days after the loan is paid off, any excess proceeds would be returned to you in full. So that's what would happen to any excess proceeds to the extent that they exist.
Question: I've asked who owns my loan and was promised a letter, but haven't received anything yet. Is Newrez the owner or just the loan servicer? We're definitely the loan servicer, but we would need to look at your loan to determine additional details there. So I'll take your information and follow up and make sure that you receive what you need there.
So another question about whether we as the mortgage company hold a separate insurance policy on your property in addition to what the homeowner holds, and the simple answer to that is no. There wouldn't be two policies on the subject property. With that, I think we have answered most, if not all, of the questions in the chat. Are there any other questions before we start to wrap up? I see some general questions about if the recording will be available or if we can get the slides. So we'll take that back and let you guys know if we can share this information. Most, if not all, of this information is available on our website. So we will let you know. We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, and thank you, David, for putting that link in the Q&A for that question we had earlier. I did respond back and included that there. I appreciate your help there, sir.
Okay, looks like we got one more question about accessing proceeds from insurance payouts only when the mortgage is paid off. The answer is no. You have access to your insurance claim funds at any point in time once all required documentation has been received, whether you are choosing to rebuild the home, repair the home, or pay off the loan in full. So again, it's your money. We're just holding it to ensure, like we said, we have a joint financial interest in the property. So we're just holding on to it until you're ready to start the process, whatever that process is going to be. We've got some more questions in here. We do not charge any fees for facilitating insurance funds back and forth. So yeah, no fees. And Marina, there's one more question about the scenario where the insurance proceeds are not sufficient to cover the total mortgage amount. Are there additional resources to help with the gap? I think it's going to depend. I think that question is going to depend on whether the intent is to pay off the property or not. So it's really going to depend.
Yeah, I think, again, the big thing with this is just let's communicate. Let us know what the situation is. And then what we're going to do is provide you with all the information you need so that you can make the best decision that works for your situation. But everybody's got a different, very unique situation that they're dealing with different things that are going into those decisions. So it's based off of you individually and the property that you have and what you've got going on related to your hardship.
Goes back to the constant communication and staying connected with us throughout the process, whatever that process is going to be, because it's going to be very individualized. Everyone's circumstances are going to be different. So stay in touch with us and we will be your partner in this. Got one more question in here about public adjusters, Clara. Let me take that back and I will respond to you separately. Stand by. Okay, we got a question to repeat the key phone numbers. So yes, let me just pull them back up. So the key phone numbers to update your mailing address if you have been relocated to temporary living as a result of the wildfires. That toll-free number is 866-269-2447. And the hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And that is to update your mailing address. The lost draft specialist toll-free number, if you choose to speak to a live agent, either to open your claim or at any point during the processing of your claim, that toll-free number is 877-826-4433 with the same operating hours. And Marina, I believe there might be a third number for loss mitigation.
Yep, if you're looking to apply for loan options or want to discuss options from a loss mitigation perspective, you can reach us at 888-673-5521. Also, remember our website is there available with resources. You can apply directly online, and that website is www.newrez.com.
I don't see any other questions in the chat. So, again, we just want to reiterate, we're here to help you. We're here to be your partner through this process. We recognize the disruption that it's caused, and we're here to support you in any way that we can. And we appreciate you taking some time out of your day today to join us. And we look forward to working with you now and in the future. Marina, anything?
No, just again, we're definitely here for you. We know you've got a lot happening there and just want you to be safe, and also for you to know that we're here to help and support you throughout your process.
Thank you.